Told my mom she's dead to me if she mentors my bully. I 16 and my mom, who's in her 40s, is a teacher at my school. Our school offers a special elective where students can become teachers' aides during their elective period. The role includes tasks like grading papers, making copies, and mentoring other students. Usually, the position goes to the teacher's favorite student. This semester, I found out my mom chose Dave, 17 to be her teacher's aide. Dave has been bullying me relentlessly since 6th grade, making my life a living nightmare through both physical and emotional abuse. Everyone, including the school and my parents, knows about his behavior. Despite numerous meetings with the school administration and several suspensions, nothing has stopped him. Luckily, in high school, I haven't had to see him as often, but when I do, it's always terrible. When I learned that Dave was her new teacher's aide, I felt hurt and confused. I asked my mom why she would want to spend extra time with someone who has made my life so miserable. She explained that she had him in one of her classes and that he isn't as bad as I think. She added that he has a difficult home life, which she couldn't tell me about, and that this makes him act out. My mom has always had a soft spot for kids from troubled backgrounds. I reminded her of everything Dave has done to me, but she said she understands and insisted he really needs help right now. I told her I understood, but I questioned why it had to be her helping him. There are plenty of teachers and staff who could mentor him. Why does it have to be my mom? She told me to stop being selfish, saying some kids have it harder than I can imagine, and she's just trying to help. I told her that if she continued to have him as her aide, she would be dead to me. I said she was choosing him over me and that she would no longer be my mother. I warned her that once I turned 18, I would move out and she'd never hear from me again. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic, but after a couple of days of ignoring her, I was grounded. It didn't change my mind, and my dad tried to force me to talk to her. I still refused, so they started taking everything away from me one by one over the past few weeks: my car, computer, guitar, and most recently my art supplies. Now, I have to come home from school and go straight to my room, and I'm not allowed out except for dinner until I start talking to her again. They don't realize that this is just strengthening my resolve. I'm going to sit in this empty room every day silently until I'm 18, and then they'll never see me again. My mom keeps coming in, crying and begging me to talk to her, which makes me feel kind of bad. But she still won't remove Dave as her aide. Edit. A lot of you made a good point that if I'm really going to go this route, then I need to come up with a plan for what I'm going to do when I get out. I considered the military like some people suggested, but then I remembered my school has a special trade program. You go to our school for half a day, then spend the other half at our local community college taking trade classes. I think, depending on what you are doing, you can get an associate's degree or whatever certifications you need by the time you graduate. I went to my guidance counselor during lunch today and told her I wanted to switch to that program. She seemed surprised and asked why I wanted to change now since I'm already taking AP classes and am on the college track. I told her I didn't want to talk about it, but I would need to be ready for independence when I graduated, and this seemed like the best way. She said it might be too late to change this semester, but she would look into it for me and let me know. Update. A lot has happened since last week, and while nothing is really fixed, I think things are going in the right direction. On Friday, I got called out of class to the guidance counselor's office. When I got there, my mom and the assistant principal were there as well. The counselor asked me to sit down and said that my decision to switch from the college track to the trade program was a big one, and she wanted to sit down with my mom and me to figure out if this really was the best option for my future. She first asked me to fully explain why I wanted to switch. I explained the whole situation from my perspective and how I was being punished. I said that if this is how I was going to be treated from now on, I wanted to become independent as soon as possible, and going to college would have me relying on my parents for longer than I would like. She then asked my mom if she had anything she would like to add. My mom tried to downplay the situation at first and make it look like I was just being stubborn and disrespectful, but as the counselor asked her more questions, it became clear that my side was the truth. After this, the assistant principal stepped in and said that a teacher's aide was not worth all of this turmoil and that Dave would be switched with another teacher. The counselor then asked me if this would help me start working things out with my mom. I said not really because it wasn't even her choice, and she hasn't even admitted she's done anything wrong. She then asked my mom if she was willing to apologize for anything that had happened. My mom gave a half-hearted apology where she said things had gone overboard and she never meant to hurt me so much. The counselor asked if I would like to apologize for anything as well, and I said not really, but nobody pressed me on it. The counselor then said it was too late to transfer this semester. What she suggested is that my mom and I, and possibly my dad, go to a family counselor for the rest of the semester. I would stay in my current classes, my parents would give me all my stuff back, and we could see if we could come to some kind of peace before next semester. She then asked my mom if after that I still had not changed my mind, she would accept the class changes. My mom said no at first because she wanted me to go to college, but I told her that she had already failed me as a mother once, please don't do it again. She got really quiet and said she would agree to it if that was what I really wanted. When I got home, all my stuff was returned to me. I also started talking to my mom again. I just kind of felt like there wasn't a point in ignoring her anymore. I don't treat her like a mother or anything anymore, but I'll answer her if she asks me a question. It just feels like that now that I have a plan, a lot of my anger is gone, and I just see her as a person who happens to live in my house. We haven't scheduled our first counseling session yet, but I don't see it changing much anyway. The damage is done, so I don't see myself changing my mind.